Hey guys, sorry for the delay. StreamYard was just spinning. I don't know what that was about because it was not my internet. So who knows? But finally, it is working. I just had to pop in and out of StreamYard about a million times for that to happen. So if you're here, we are here to talk about Lucifer Season 5, Part B, which is a lot campier and funnier than Season 5, Part A, or Part 1, if that's what we're calling it. Except we have a major character death, which still makes me sad. I'm not recapping the entire season. We're just going to talk about different events that I thought were interesting, things that I thought were sad, things that I thought could have been a little bit better. So let's just start with the biggest thing for me is that Dan was killed in this season. And they kind of alluded to something going on with him because, even last season, he was always trying to find himself. He even went, he started practicing Buddhism and reading all these self-help books. And then he found out that Lucifer was actually the devil. And I really feel like that whole stint led up to what was happening. Even in the season now where, he gets assigned to go escort a prisoner. And he runs into another cop that's kind of shady. And, even though this is all set up by Lucifer, he goes down there and he thinks he's helping his friend out by delivering, this package to the Russian mafia, which turns out to be a head, in the box. And it's just it's all a bunch of crap. But like all the stuff that Dan had to go through in the season kind of led up to his demise. And it's just really sad. And I knew it was going to happen. And I'm like, ugh. The scene where they're at the hospital and Trixie comes in and Dan, they have to tell her that her dad's dead. That broke me. When Maze was crying and Trixie goes over to Maze and says, "It's okay, Maze. It's not true. I don't believe it," basically. And I was like, oh my gosh, my heart. I was really upset about that. And I honestly think Trixie did not have enough time in this season. I think she should have been in it a lot more. I mean, I liked the little times that she was in it, but I feel like she definitely wasn't in it enough. But it is what it is. COVID, whatever. Maybe they're just trying to keep the kids safe because they couldn't get vaccinated. I don't know. But really, really, that scene messed me up, and it messed everybody up. And you can see like the ramifications, like when Lucifer and Maze just walk in and just start killing all the people and Maze is killing them all. Like it's just. I don't know. And then like I keep thinking about to the, like certain things that are said to Dan, like where Maze is like pretends to take a bullet and he thought she was dead and she's like, you really think I would take a bullet for you? And then it kind of looks like sad and she's like, well, at least not in the chest. And I'm like, oh, this is so foreboding. He's gonna die. I knew it was coming. Oh, it's so sad. So yeah, Dan is up there with the saddest thing that happened in this season for me. And that kind of left me shook. Now they did kill a lot of side characters in this, but they do that all the time. Like Remy's dead. So an angel that was actually spying for Lucifer on Michael, because the biggest thing is pretty much there's a rivalry between Michael and Lucifer on who's going to end up being God's replacement, because God has decided to retire. And Amenadiel doesn't want to do it. He's like, I actually like living on Earth and being a family man, and I have a son, and I don't want any of this to change. So the obvious choice for succession doesn't want to be the successor. So Lucifer's like, I'll do it, and of course Michael wants to do it. And it's just crazy. The whole twin sibling toxic relationship between Lucifer and Michael is insane. And it comes to a head in this season. So I was very impressed with how that was handled, especially with Michael being essentially killed, because Michael stabs Chloe. Chloe temporarily dies. And then Lucifer goes up to heaven wearing his protective ring. He gets to where Chloe is with the help of another character who he helped earlier in last season. I believe it was the boat mystery or yacht mystery. And then the guy got to see his family one last time, and he ends up helping him. And for some reason, he was able to go from hell to heaven. He's like, somehow he just made it. His soul actually went from hell and then went into heaven. And even Lucifer's like, nobody from hell ever makes it to heaven, you know? But he basically puts the ring on Chloe and she's able to basically come back. But Lucifer now is essentially God because he transcended, I guess. I don't know. I'm getting ahead of myself, but I just wanted to talk about that because I thought that was interesting connection. But how cool is it that Dennis Haysbert, who I will always remember in the Allstate commercials, is God? And I absolutely wish that we got to have God more, you know, throughout the entire season, and he did more. Because I will say his God is very naive. He knows what Michael's ability is, and he starts losing control of his powers, which makes for some very funny moments, especially the episode where everyone just breaks into song. I really liked a lot of the musical numbers that they did. I wasn't too thrilled with Maze and Ella's I like them together because honestly, I ship Maze with Ella. I don't ship Maze with Eve. And I'll get into that in a second. But I didn't like the music they picked out for Maze because I think Maze actually is a very good voice. And I just didn't like that kind of more alto-ish tone or deeper tone song for her. I feel like the song choice could have been better is what I'm saying. But yeah, whatever. But I did love the musicals. I thought they were funny and they would randomly happen in the middle of nowhere. Just everyone was breaking into song because God's losing control of his crap. So, but God never put it together that Michael was the one that was causing this. So it's like he doesn't want to see the bad side of his sons. It's just really, really interesting. But I get it. It's God. But yeah, God's like, I've been doing this a long time. My wife gave up a lot for me. I'm going to go to my wife's world and you guys can just handle business. And it's like God was so handoffish and it was so interesting. Like there's many times where Linda is kind of giving him advice and Chloe calls him a bad dad. And it's like, you know, God is being talked to like he's a child who did something wrong, basically. And I think that was really funny in this season. Ella's darkness is something that they actually talked about a lot too in this season. They discussed the fact, or she discussed the fact that when she saw the accident, for example, she was trying to picture in her head all the carnage and damage and she was into it. And then like she realized her first thought wasn't to help this person. And, you know, Linda tries to tell her about, you know, how everybody has a darkness inside of them. And even God says sometimes the darkest, you know, the darker you are, the lighter, the stronger your light is or something like that. But it's interesting that Ella has this like complex view of herself with darkness. And that's why I always felt like she's into bad boys. And I always wanted her to be at least sexually fluid because I really feel like her and Maze would have been more compatible than, you know, Eve and Maze. I don't know what it is. And I know there's a lot of people out there that are like, you know, Maze and Eve shippers. I'm not one of them. I really thought from the introduction of Ella's character, that her and Maze would have been a very good couple. And the fact that Maze just wants a soul and wants to find love, and, you know, Ella basically wants to find love too and wants someone to accept the darkness in her, and who better to accept the darkness in her than a demon, you know? I think, honestly, I would have loved to see the trials and tribulations of their relationship with Ella being so religious and her falling in love with a demon. I thought that would have been a great story. Maze just being with Eve is just weird. I'm not saying they don't have chemistry. I just don't care. I'm just not invested in Eve. You know, she was there. She wanted to be with Lucifer. Then she went to find herself. Then she came back and now all of a sudden realized she's into Maze. And it's like, really? You know, even the little moments where she thought she might be in season 4, they do not make up for the fact that she still bailed. She bailed on someone who already has abandonment issues, you know, and it's just like, I don't know. I'm not into it. I'm just being real. And I know we're getting a season 6 and part of me is really hoping that in the end that Ella does end up with Maze. And Ella's going through the whole cycle of season 5B saying, you know, if you want to know who the killer is, just let me see who I'm attracted to. And there you go, you know, because she just knows that she attracts darkness. She attracts that stuff and she's attracted to it. And I think it's just really sad that she has that perspective about herself. So yeah, and Ella was hardly in this part of the season either. It's very weird. There was a lot of Dan moments, but that's how I knew that Dan was going to die because Dan was in it a lot. And so I knew there was going to be some problems with Dan. But it is what it is. And then we have, speaking of Eve, she comes back because she's now a bounty hunter. She got so hot over the time she was with Maze that she wanted to keep doing it. And she doesn't want to have immortality because Maze was going to give her, the ring that lets her stay immortal. And she doesn't want to live forever. She wants to die. And I'm like, that's the opposite than what normally happens. Normally when you have like the immortal lover, you're like, I need to find a way to stay with you forever. Yada, 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 yada. Unless you're we don't really know what's going to happen in Inuyasha, since technically Rin and Kagome are not old enough to age like that yet. But I don't know what's going to happen when they do age, because their spouses will not. Just putting it out there. But it's just interesting. It's interesting that Eve is choosing mortality. She doesn't want to be immortal. And Maze, it scares the hell out of Maze, because Maze just got a taste of what it's like to lose people. And she doesn't want to lose Eve. And then Dan turns around and dies. And it's just all a mess for her. It is all a mess for her. Maze, I'm really sympathetic, even though she's a demon. She's got so much humanity in her. And I love that God tells her, she's like, I want a soul. A demon can't grow a soul. And God's like, can't she? And I'm like, ha. I did like that. I like that gave her hope that she could, eventually get the soul she wants so badly. I also love that we finally got Linda and her daughter that she gave up for adoption to come clean about their relationship. I mean, it came at the price of her daughter being accused almost of murder, but she finally has her daughter over the house. The daughter has now met Charlie, she knows that there's a sibling. So all of that is out in the air, which I think is really cool. Especially because it was really funny watching Linda stalk, her daughter. She was stalking her. She was following her around to see what she was doing, but she didn't want to tell her she was her mother. She wanted her to come to her. So yeah, I thought that was interesting. I thought that was really, really interesting. But this season, when I was watching it, the episodes seemed long, but I mean, it just kind of flew by because we weren't getting we're getting bits and pieces of where everybody was at this point, but we weren't getting like the normal amount of screen time for all of the characters. Even Michael is like the big antagonist in this, and he was hardly in it. Like, he was in it a few scenes, where he basically turned all of the rest of the angels against Luther, except for Remy, who was on his side and ended up dying because of it. And it's like, I don't know. I feel like he just wasn't in it enough. Like, we had Michael, and then we had Dan's death, and then we had all this other stuff going on. And then it's like so many different avenues. And we had Lucifer trying to deal with himself. Was he worthy enough to be with Chloe? Because the only reason that Lucifer even wanted to be God is because he wanted to be with Chloe. I mean, it's not a good reason to want to be the God of all creation and things, but that's what he was doing. And like, everybody was definitely in their feelings. And having Amendiel talk about humans the way he does, he's seeing now that he definitely looks down on humans, even though his son is now more like, Charlie's not an angel. His son is not, he has no angelic anything. Even though his dad's an archangel, he's not. He's completely human. And, it bothers him. And he told Linda, we're better than you. We can fly. We're stronger. We live longer, blah, blah, blah. And Linda's like, I'm going to take our son and we're going to do stupid, less than human things, basically. And I think it just dawned on him that, how can he be the God over people he looks down upon too? I think that was another reason why he chose not to be God, which is interesting. I don't know. I mean, overall, this season I felt was pretty good. It does make me excited for season 6 because, the last shot is literally Lucifer standing there and people are bowing to him. He is now essentially God. So the devil is now the God of heaven. What is going to happen with that? I don't know. Will he have the power to bring Dan back? Because Dan is not in heaven. Apparently, if you don't deal with, your guilt and you blame yourself for stuff, you go to hell. And Dan is in hell. He is not in heaven. And so I think that is going to be something they have to deal with in season 6 because, Dan's a good guy. He should not be in hell. And I'm really curious as God, if he's going to be able to get a pardon for him. Will Dan be able to come back? I don't know. I mean, they had a funeral and everything. So if he does come back, he can't be the person he was unless they erase all of that timeline. And I don't know. I mean, I guess God could do that, but I mean, again, they always say God has a plan, but I don't think Lucifer does. So that is going to be very interesting. And then what's going to happen with Lucifer and Chloe's relationship now that he's essentially God? She literally is in a weird position of being the person who was made for him, literally. And her partner was literally the devil, the king of hell, and now is the king of heaven as God. Chloe's going to go through it. Like, she's going through it. And I'm really curious to see what's going to happen with that. I don't know. I'm really hoping that season 6 gets a happy ending because, it is based on a comic and, things happen. They could actually end it very negatively. No one's happy at the end. I don't know. I'm hoping not. But at least we do have season 6, unless Netflix up and decides to go back and cancel it because they have renewed shows. And then right before they're getting ready to release it, they take it back, which they better not do. We still have a lot more story to tell. But again, to be clear, I do want Lucifer and Chloe to end up together because they've been through a lot of crap. I do want Maze to be happy, and I want her to be happy with Ella. I don't give a crap about Eve. I'm so sorry. I'm probably going to get a lot of crap for this. I don't care. I really don't. Eve is a nice enough girl who can go find someone else. Like, I think there's so much electricity between Maze and Ella in scenes when they're together. Like, even when they were doing their dance, like their song combination dance, if you wish, how they actually, it looked like Ella was about to kiss Maze. And I'm absolutely, completely on board with that. And it's not happening. And I hate that all the couples that I think should be together are never together. It's like, it's so frustrating for me because I literally have been shipping them since Maze first saved Ella and her brother. And I believe it was literally her first episode, or Ella's first premiere episode. So I need this couple to happen, but it won't because they got her with Eve and now she's going to be happy and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, why are you dumb? Like, why can't you see the chemistry in these actors and then right around it? It's so stupid. It just bothers me a lot. So, but yeah. But that's what I liked about it. I mean, like I said, Dan Espinosa being killed really bothered me, though I will say I did love every one of the Dan-centric episodes that we saw because they were hilarious, because he is funny, especially him and Maze. I love that him and Maze started bonding and having that relationship. So I'm really sad that we don't have that anymore. And then we're not going to. And I don't know. I'm probably sounding like kind of lackluster because it's not that this was a bad season. I really liked it. I just don't think it was as eventful as the past seasons. We still got our murderers of the week and, those were all funny. And again, we did get literally a full freaking musical episode that was random and sporadic and out of nowhere at the expense of God's powers going wacky. So I did like that. God misplacing his powers was funny, and finding out that it was actually in the toy he gave Charlie, his grandson, was funny. The family dinner scene where God's there with Lucifer, Michael, basically all of his children and Linda, because Linda's family. She tried to get out of it, but she's family. All of that was funny and toxic and really relatable and looked like a real family would, not people that are like, supposed to be more ascended and holier than everyone else. And it's like, wow, you guys are like an episode of Jerry Springer, everyone calling God, you're a bad dad. You even love us. like all of that, even Lucifer showing vulnerability towards worrying that God doesn't love him, that his dad doesn't love him. All that stuff was very cool. I guess I just wished we had more character development and more character interactions with Trixie and Ella and everyone else. Like that, I guess that's just a thing. Like I said, we did get a lot of Maze. We got Dan, of course. We always will have Chloe. We got Lucifer, but we just got a snippet of Ella, and we just got, a snippet of Trixie. And it's weird. And like, I'm so used to seeing them more in some capacity, but it is what it is. But yeah, all right, let's look at the comments and see. Okay. I feel like it needed more episodes and wanted more time with Trixie and Maze. Yes, I absolutely agree with that. I don't know what the decision process behind that was. It's very weird. I don't get that at all. Dan's death is so sad. I know. I was like, when he got shot the first time and he looked at his chest and you could see the shock on his face. He's like, holy crap, they really shot me, because he did really well getting away from them and was almost free, and then ended up getting shot. And then to learn that the reason he was killed was because of Michael. Michael did that basically to make Chloe feel so guilty that she, basically descends down to hell. That's crazy to me. I like when Chloe told God he was a bad dad. Yeah, I like the look on his face. He's like, wait a minute, what? I'm God. Talks to me like that. I love the interactions between God and Dan, because Dan technically slept with God's ex-wife, and Dan being petrified that he was going to hell because he didn't realize that was God's ex-wife, which is true. He didn't know. Oh, it's funny. I also wish there was more Ella. Yep. Yeah, did not really see the whole Maze and Eve relationship, was too quick. Like, Maze and Ella's better too. Also find it funny Ella's the only one who doesn't know the secret. They still haven't told her. Like, they still have not told her. And I think that's really sad. But I know she's so religious. I don't know how she would react to it. Did you know there was a season 6? There was a season 6. Was really angry on how it ended, thinking it was done. I'm happy there will be another season. Yeah, season 6 they're saying we're getting season 6. Now I don't know if we have anything past that. I think season 6 is the final season. So we'll see. Is it me or 2021? Is this year of opportunity appreciated, except for Biden's stupid plan for our no online learning? I have not followed behind on what's going on in politics, because politics give me anxiety at this point, especially being a minority and being queer. The rules normally are against people like me. So I've taken a kind of sabbatical against like the news for the past few days or weeks, really, because it stresses me out. It really stresses me out. I get too emotionally in my feelings, and yeah. For mental health reasons, I have to shut it off, especially since I live in Tennessee, and Tennessee does not make good choices. So I have a governor that they literally have nicknamed all of the bills he's passed as the slate of hate, because all of them are racist. There's a lot of homophobic crap going on, and I'm just effing tired of it. So have you seen season 2 of Motherland Fort Salem? Yeah. I have seen the trailer. I did do a reaction video to that this morning, so it is on the channel. Now, it's not going to be released till June 22nd. That's the first episode. I believe that is on a Tuesday. So, yeah. So June 22nd is when we'll actually see the series premiere. But as for me seeing it, the only thing that's out right now is a teaser that I did a review on last week, and a trailer that they released early this morning that I did a reaction video / mini review to, which is on the channel. But I am looking forward to it, because Motherland Fort Salem is my jam. I literally, from the very first trailer of this show, I think if you actually go back, I think I was one of the first people to ever do a review on Motherland Fort Salem, because nobody knew what it was. And from the very first trailer, I literally did that. Have you seen the first 2 episodes of The Owl House? Now, season 1, I've seen all of. Now, season 2 is not supposed to be coming out until the 17th of June on Disney Plus, unless you know something that I don't. I know the new trailer is out. It's on the community board. So if you want to see the trailer for season 2, I did post that this morning as well on our community tab. But we should not have new episodes until the 17th, is what I thought it said. But let me check that now that I have, pretty sure Owl House season 2 premieres. Let's see. June 12th. So it's June 12th is when it's coming out. So June 12th will have the first 2 episodes, I believe. Actually, let me make sure that's true. That might not be true. No. First 2 episodes, it's saying, should be premiering on Disney Plus on June 12th. So, and yes, I will talk about it, because I am addicted to The Owl House. I absolutely love that show. So excited. Saw a YouTube video with a scene from the 2nd season, had a link to the first 2 episodes. Wow. Okay. I don't know how they got that because it hasn't even premiered unless that somebody's posting it on YouTube. Now, to be fair, overseas they get shows before we do. So, for instance, when Power Rangers, especially when Dino Charge came out, they would release it over in the UK and France before we would get it. So that is potentially what could be happening. They may already have their release dates. I don't know why that is. I don't know why some of our shows get released over there first. I know why they do it with movies. They want to basically bang up the revenue from overseas before they release it here. So they know they'll at least make what they're trying to make, and they know they can get a foreign audience to go see the movies. But yeah. What makes June 12th such a relevant day this year, or was it always like that? I don't remember when season 1 premiered because I got into the show late, so I'm not really sure. And I saw all of the show on YouTube because somebody had pointed it out to me, and I fell in love with it. So, and since I have Disney Plus, I'm just going to watch it on Disney Plus. But yeah, I mean, if they're out there, that's cool. But no, I haven't seen the first 2 episodes yet. As far as I knew, it was not going to be premiering until Saturday, so I was waiting until Saturday. Which, again, I love the Owl House. So I will definitely be talking about the Owl House after I watch. I don't think they're releasing the entire season. That it might be like a weekly thing. But, I mean, I don't know. I have no idea. It'd be cool if we got the whole season. But I don't know how they're going to do that. So that'd be interesting. It's just like with one thing I like about Netflix in terms of shows like Lucifer is that we don't have to wait week by week by week to get an episode. They do it with some series, but they don't do it with Lucifer. They got the whole series in one bang, and I like that. Hulu will sometimes drag it out if it's a new show. So it's Prime, depending on what it is. And, Disney Plus obviously does that as well. So hopefully we'll get a whole season in one swoop on the 12th, but I'm not holding my breath. Might be week by week by like every Saturday release, maybe like Saturday morning cartoons. But either way, we are talking about the Owl House on this channel. But as for Lucifer, again, loved the season. Did feel like it was played more towards certain characters, and some characters were more left out. And I really wish we had seen more. I just wish we had more Trixie and Ella moments, because I kind of felt like that was missing. And that really, like, even Maze and Ella have only really interacted, like, I think during the song that they had. I don't think they had any other interaction whatsoever in the entire series. And that is so weird to me. I'm so used to Maze making fun of Ella or whatever. So that makes me sad, because again, if you go back and watch the seasons, I really like Ella and Maze together, and I think that they would be fun. And since Ella's into some dark stuff, I mean, nothing that Maze could potentially do would be too much of a shock other than the murder part. And honestly, I don't think that would be a problem, considering how she was describing the accident she saw. So I feel like they're a match made, in whatever, and it's a missed opportunity for them not to use that. It makes me sad. I don't know. Also, not a lot of Maze and Trixie, which were some of my favorite parts. I know. I loved her training, Trixie to fight. I mean, she was more humanized around Trixie, and I really liked it. The only time I think we ever saw her with Trixie is when Trixie realized her dad, or where they were telling Trixie that her dad was dead. And I'm like, that is so messed up, and there were a lot of repercussions for, Maze siding with Michael. It's like nobody talked about it. It's like God's here now, so everything's cool. And I'm like, technically, she betrayed you, Lucifer. There really wasn't a lot of interaction originally between Lucifer and Maze, but when Dan died, they did go and take care of the guys together. But I don't know. Like I said, it's like they didn't have time. And I get that with COVID, it was very hard to pick up from where you left off and try and complete the whole season and, try to cram everything in. Not realize or not knowing if you'd be able to finish the season, yada, yada. But I feel like there are moments they should have addressed for closure purposes. And one of them is Maze did, to get a soul, she did side with Michael. And that to me is a big deal. I love the battle at the end, where Maze, brought people from hell, to come and help fight. But at the same time, the demons versus the angels, very biblical. It just, to me, that whole battle was kind of lackluster. I think they could have done a lot more. I would have liked to have seen more fight, I guess, more action type fights. But Lucifer's not really that kind of show, so I guess it doesn't matter. But yeah, So we are almost to 30 minutes. So I'm going to end the stream here. I am going to be posting my Legends of Tomorrow review. I'm also going to be doing our Arrowverse Tuesday. So we are going to have Arrowverse Tuesday on tomorrow as normal, as long as the weather permits and my power stays on, because that's the problem with living in an old building, is that things don't like to work when it rains. So hopefully I'll be able to do that. And then we'll be on track for Arrowverse Tuesday. And I have a few other videos coming out too. So be on the lookout for that. And hopefully I'll be able to review maybe Owl House, at least episode 1 and 2 on Saturday, but we will see. We will see. I don't know how it's going to air. So if it's the whole season, I'm going to push it because I want to talk about the whole season. But if it's like episode by episode, I probably will do an episodic review. So we will see. But thank you for joining me, guys. I'm going to go eat lunch now. Thanks for hanging out. If you have any questions, comments, theories on season 6, just want to talk about what you thought about anything with Lucifer season 5B, please put in the comments below. And then I will see you guys hopefully on tomorrow. Bye, guys.